Hello friends, welcome back. I am here with your new moon in Aquarius reading for January 31st. Yes, January 31st and February 1st. So, new moons. I think you all, if you're a regular watcher, you know how I love to talk about new moons. New moons are about, I don't know why the word initiation came to my head. This is about setting intentions, setting intentions based on what we've learned in the last moon cycle. And so from the last full moon, what have you learned that you would like to bring into view for this next moon cycle? Let's find out a little bit more about the new moon in Aquarius. So I've already picked up the Moonology cards. The new moon in Aquarius is about bringing love into the situation. So I'm going to go ahead and read on that, but also again remind you, with new moons it means a new start is coming. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and read about the new moon in Aquarius. Okay. Aquarius is all about progress and modernity. So this is the time to move forwards. The new moon in Aquarius card means no looking back. Change is on its way and it could come quickly. Whether you get the change you want depends both on whether you believe you can have it and how much you're relying on others to bring it to you. This card comes with the suggestion that you may need to do things independently on your own. But be loving, not too pragmatic. Time may be of the essence when this card comes up. Aquarius energy has an electric feel to it. Certainly there is a sense that you need to let go of the past and move towards your future as soon as possible. To attune to the moon, explore the idea that it's not what you know, but whom you know. Additional meanings for this card, if you're bringing in a question to this situation, you need to be more detached from the situation. Thinking outside the box will bring the solution. More pragmatism is called for. Improve your karma by doing some charitable work. The teaching. Aquarius is the sign of invention, modern advances in technology, and humanity. Its energy is a little brittle. It's individual, scientific even, and relatively emotionally detached. Many people think Aquarius is a water sign because the Aquarius symbol is the water bearer, but it's actually an air sign and is far more about intellect than the emotional water signs. As is this card, no matter when you draw it. Dropping convention works well with this energy. So yeah, bringing love into the situation and being innovative about it. Wow. That's very interesting that it says bringing love into the situation, but also asking for detachment. So it might be asking like how you can bring love to the situation, not so much, I guess, in like a relationship manner. All right, let's find out a little bit more. You know what? We've got the new moon in Aquarius card talking about bringing love into the situation. We've got a new start coming. Let's go ahead and ask the cards. Spirit. Oh, look at that. We've already got King of Wands in reverse. Might be having something to do with reversing an action, maybe. Interesting. 10 of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. This could be about an emotional situation turning around. Wheel of Fortune and the Death card could be about a transformation, a turnaround and transformation. Yeah, that's what the new moon in Aquarius card said, that whatever change is coming, it's coming quickly. And so look again, I'm having this habit again of like looking at the deck before I start shuffling it. We've got the Death card and now the Ace of Wands, which is a transformation leading to a new journey. So if this is If that is resonating for you, let's read on. Spirit, do you have any messages? Thank you. Wow. Spirit, do you have any? Ooh. Wow. Wow. Okay. We've got the Tower card and the Judgment card. Spirit, do you have any? Wow. Goodness. Lots of major arcana here. Spirit, do you have any messages? Do you have any messages? Do you have any messages for the collective for this new moon in Aquarius? All right. Thank you. Okay. Spirit, do you have any messages for the collective for this new moon in Aquarius? Ooh, that's a lot of cards. Okay, got 2 cards out there. Did I want to do 8? Let's see. See if Spirit has any more. That's a lot. Actually, I'll put these to the side. Do you have any more messages, Spirit? Let's see. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So 3 cards came out. Not quite sure. I'm going to use these 3 cards that came out as clarification later on. But at the bottom of the deck, we have Transformation, the Death card. Now, again, if you watch my channel at all, you know that for me, this Death card is definitely about big transformation, big leaving of the old and entering the new, big change. Think about it as, you know, you've gone through all that you can go through, and now you're actually either passing through to the other side of a situation, or finding yourself on the other side of a situation and trying to figure out where to go from there. So I'm going to put this card over to the side here, and let's take a look at what has come out for us. First card out was the Tower card. Second card was the Judgment card. All major arcana at the top here. And then we also have the Hierophant card. The 8 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Wands came out together. And then last but not least, we have the King of Cups. So it's very interesting that I see the Tower pop up here. Oftentimes this means that something big that we have built up to be very important, or something that we believed in and had a lot of hope in, that we built up either in our minds or in our hearts or in actual physical structure, is crashing down. And Tower cards, you know, readers will say Tower cards are about, you know, basically it's something that happens for us and not to us. So it's quite likely you are encountering something that needs to be destroyed or taken down, or even if it's a matter of a belief in a thing, you are questioning your belief in that thing. And so I will say about the Tower card, recently I've been listening to this book called Radical Forgiveness, and it talks about how when we, if you are going through something, if you are going through change or transformation or experiencing something like that, this book talks about how usually when we're in a space of believing that something has happened to us that is devastating, there's really a very spiritual approach where at the end of the day we understand nothing wrong was actually done to us in some cases. So there's even in the idea of this card, there is the idea of radical forgiveness, So you could be approaching a situation that has caused you great pain, and you built your life around it, and you did all this stuff, and you're actually understanding, wow, I built up an issue into this whole big thing, and I didn't need to. I was just being in my true nature at that time. So this card could be about finding a radical forgiveness that you may not have had at the time, or for whatever situation you might be thinking about, approaching it with the idea of radical forgiveness. Yeah, and I'll put a link to the book, but I don't know why that came up with this card, radical forgiveness. Now with this Judgment card, the Judgment card is typically about a call to a new life, which makes sense if we moved out of radical forgiveness and we're looking at, okay, I've forgiven, I've lightened my load, or, you know, this thing that has been plaguing me is now done with. It's over, and I've let it go. This is now a call to a new life. Simple as that. I can speak more on it, but really it's a call to a new life. Like, maybe you're even trying to imagine, you know, what glorious lushness surrounds me now? What are my choices and options now? And it's almost as if this Tower card, I'm still connecting with this idea of radical forgiveness. It's almost as if this Tower has come in to clear some space for you. And you may have so much space available to you that you don't even know where to start. Like, the world is open to you and available to you to set an intention right now and say, we're in this new moon in Aquarius. This is the time for you to say, this is what I want. This is what I desire. After I've gotten out of this thing where I have found this level of peace now and clarity, even, the way is now clear to push forward. Not even push forward. You don't have to push for anything in this situation. The way is now clear, and it's almost as if like something opens up completely. And here, next that comes up is the Hierophant. And I almost sense that there's this idea of having to make a decision, not so much very quickly, but having to make the decision because let's see, the Hierophant card is the card of Taurus. Let me see what, I'm trying to remember what the connections are for Judgment. So Judgment is actually Pluto, which is quite interesting because we've just had Venus. Wow. So, okay, we've just come out of Venus retrograde. Venus was retrograde in Pluto. And so Pluto might have cleared the way in the matters of love. And of course, you know, this new moon card in Aquarius says bring love into the situation. So we're coming out of Venus retrograde in Pluto, which is connected to the Judgment card, right? And then also the Tower. Let's look at the astrology for the Tower here. Yeah, let's see. Okay, this is Mars. And Mars, you know, that's a perfect card. That's a perfect card for the Tower because Mars is all about, it's about war. It's about how we approach issues, how it's about, you know, the Tower is about, honestly, wow. I've got on this card that the Tower could also be about destruction of the ego. Yeah. getting beyond your ego in order to get to a point of radical forgiveness. Because Mars is about destruction. Mars is about war. And if we're talking about the tarot in a manner of trying to internally possess, the teachings in it and how we can look at ourselves inside of it. This Tower card is about the war within ourselves and the war to fight for our own peace, which kind of seems at odds, but that's what rages inside of us sometimes, is we're trying to find this inner peace. And if the inner peace is disturbed by the things we have built up on the outside, it's time to question, why did we build up those things on the outside of us? And talking about that destruction of the ego, what were we building up around ourselves that was feeding our ego versus feeding our soul, feeding our spirit? Because there's healthy ego, yeah, but then there's also, once we start building monuments to our egos, we are building something that is bigger than us and that completely doesn't need us, when clearly the ego needs us to exist. Okay, I'm going in a whole new direction. I'm going to continue into this Judgment card and then also into the Hierophant. So if you are experiencing an illness, this could also be finding wholeness after having been ill. All right, so I'm going to pull up the Hierophant card as well. We've got Taurus. Wow. So this is where I'm using my helper cards, by the way, because I really want to get into the psyche, the spiritual nature of the connection that we have with the cards. So, and this is coming from Jessica Dore's tarot course. So the Hierophant, Taurus. Taurus is, in astrology, moving into the North Node. So we're switching up out of the things that we built in the North Node Gemini, which was last year, and now we're moving it into Taurus. And it's funny because I'm looking at this card and it says that the Hierophant can, not only does it mean in other tarot, it could mean marriage, it could be the structure of a religious nature. It typically always means marriage. But we can also talk about it as the super ego. So in this Tower card, we talked about the destruction of the ego. And it's almost as if we're building a new super ego in regards to ourselves and, astrologically, the world. So the world, the super ego is the model of the environment. And how the environment affects us. And so we might be rebuilding our environment, rebuilding the space around us specifically, or at least rebuilding the sense of self internally into something that radiates outwardly. So it's as if we're rebuilding our complete new self. And we're building it around a new set of values and a new set of things that we want to see in our lives, which is the new moon in Aquarius. Now, for some people, well, a lot of people, this could send us on our Eight of Cups journey. This could be the start of a new spiritual journey where we are in this Eight of Cups. We see this sprite looking into the water and looking at herself, and spiritually this is a card of leaving cups in the past. The sprite in this card is trying to figure out, do I go to this man in the background and, be in that relationship, or do I concentrate on the cups that I have stacked? So there's a decision to be made here. Do I look at what I've built up around me emotionally? Do I look at them, or do I go in a different direction? And it looks like in this reading there's a going in a new direction, and it could be going inside in order to gain more of an idea of what you want on the outside. And then we come to our 9 of Pentacles and our 5 of Wands. And so these cards came out together. The 9 of Pentacles for me is about independence. And it could be that you are finding yourself feeling very independent, feeling very autonomous. And when I say autonomous, I mean working outside of a structure in your own way. So not by yourself, but because this new moon, again, we've got new moon in Aquarius, and Aquarius is that energy of sometimes doing things by yourself. Maybe this is the space of, do I need help in doing what it is that I'd like to do? Or am I going to be taking action where I'm taking on too much by myself? This 5 of Wands is typically about, not having, it's about confusing actions or gossip or things like that. But we're talking about this in a spiritual own thyself, know thyself standpoint. So this 9 of Pentacles and this 5 of Wands, you could be looking at it like, hey, maybe my actions are me taking on too much, and I need to figure out how to share the load. Because here I see the 5 of Wands, and I see this elemental being. I'll just call it elemental being, looking at this hiker with this big pack on, and he's got like all this stuff available for him to use, and all they have is a knife. And so it's as if there's the want. This elemental being wants whatever he has, but I mean, if you look at it, what could she carry all of that could she carry all of that if she took it? Does she need anything more than a knife? Because all he has is a stick. So it's kind of like, maybe you're looking at it in a way, instead of looking at it as taking, maybe look at a way of collaborating, and maybe think about reprioritizing to allow another entity to exist and be in that space with you in order to have this successful level of autonomy. And that's exactly what this new moon in Aquarius card was asking us, right? Maybe not be too pragmatic, maybe be pragmatic. So, whatever the situation that you're asking about or thinking about would be helpful. So lastly, we have this King of Cups. The King of Cups typically I see the King of Cups as someone who is very emotionally intelligent, someone who is capable of holding space for people, for emotions, for things of a feeling nature. Typically it is an older man when we're talking about the tarot, but internally, ask yourself if you have grown in your emotional intelligence, or even, the outcome of this could be that there is some level of emotional intelligence coming in for you through this process, and growth, maturity, because this is the King of Cups. This is the highest you can go in the cups journey, in the emotional journey of the cups. You could be getting help, you know, if you think about it in a world sense, 3D sense. You could be getting help from an older, wiser person. But typically, you know, if you're possessing this energy, this could also be something helpful. So the cards that came up, the cards that came up with this, that came out, we have the Seven of Swords, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and we also have the Chariot card. So to me, I feel like this is just part of the journey. This is about the journey, you know, that you undertook that had some hidden dangers. You know, there were some things that might have been unseen for you. And when we talk about the Queen of Pentacles, you know, we're talking about someone who is maybe a mentor, or maybe an entrepreneur. And this is entrepreneur energy, maybe a female entrepreneur. But this is also then, you know, you took a chance on something, a business, an idea, maybe work, maybe what you were investing in, your time, your job. But this Chariot card is about moving toward success. Those are the cards that came up just on the side. Wow. Okay. So the overall on this is that this is about transformation, deep transformation. And the cards on the side are talking about maybe after a journey, a dangerous journey of deceit. Maybe it's kind of like maybe you're turning your journey into a business. Maybe you're turning it into something that is successful for you in the future, or even not in the future, but you're building around this and this situation. Could be. If it resonates, you know, great. If not, okay. And then because this Chariot card is a major arcana, you could be dealing with an astrological Cancer, Crab. These people are very feeling and emotional and deep. So again, it comes back to this emotional intelligence involved in what you're doing and how you're transforming. All right, so where are we at? 27 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let's pull some guidance for you for this new moon in Aquarius, please, Spirit. Can we get some guidance for this new moon in Aquarius, please? Thank you. Yeah, there could be some very quick elevation for you. Lightning fast. And of course, this is all lightning fast because this is new moon in Aquarius. And I feel like Aquarius moves very quickly. It's an air sign. Okay. All right, Spirit, do you have any guidance for this new moon in Aquarius? Do you have any guidance? Thank you, Spirit. We've got the Andean Cross upright, the number 2 card in the shamanic, where is it? Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. I'll get the book. And let's look at what that means for us in this new moon in Aquarius. And maybe it will help you shape intentions. Now, what's really important is to write these intentions down. And because it's Aquarius, maybe even email them to yourself or text them, or, you know, some sort of innovative way to share an intention, or get an intention down on some sort of digital artifact. Okay, the Andean Cross. The Andean Cross represents the cosmology of the shaman. It depicts the 4 cardinal directions, the upper and lower worlds, and the steps to reach these realms. The hole in the center is a gateway to interdimensional travel, the proverbial eye of the needle we can all go through to experience higher states of awareness and wisdom, and to break free of linear time. The invitation. The Andean cross announces the start to a great journey. It's time to raise your gaze from the mundane day-to-day to that which, until now, has seemed beyond your grasp. Allow new wisdom to guide you, and stop trying to make sense of it all before you respond with a resounding yes. Wow. Wow. I'm just kind of blown away, because I'm looking at how this tower, you know, when we think of tower, we think of like, oh, it's something really, oh no. But really what I'm seeing and connecting to is this idea of, it is the idea of radical forgiveness in such a way that it shocks those around you, and it shocks the system, and it shocks you, it shocks everyone around you, to the point where you have cleared a path for yourself, and you've given yourself a new start by doing this. You have given yourself a new start. Wow. Awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I wish you a wonderful new moon in Aquarius. Please make those intentions. If you need to go back and listen again to the new moon in Aquarius, meaning bring love into the situation, I highly encourage that. Hopefully this reading resonates and brings you brings you what you need to hear. Thank you so much. Namaste.